Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. If you are in our area, we invite you to come and worship with us every Sunday. Service begins at 10 a.m. There's parking on Hillcrest Avenue. We are the brown brick building located right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road in Wilmington, Delaware. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. And if you're not in our area, you can tune in to the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. where we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, RadioFreeNetwork.com. You can go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear. Click on the New Life link, and every broadcast will be available to you. But if you're in our area, we want you to come and experience worship with us and experience a better quality of life. And of course, as always, today we are here live broadcasting from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature, it is untouched by man? It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water, this is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com. We thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, where you can discuss whatever topics are important to you. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart. Whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that's the reason that we are here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you had an increase in your income due to a side business you started. Congratulations, and to God be the glory. And you want to be careful not to waste your increase. Now, you said in your communication that you've heard me talk about how we have to be diligent, about being effective, about being efficient. And you repeated some of the things. I love it when people repeat what they hear in the broadcast, because it means that you've taken it in your spirit, you have a clear understanding. So you say you want to know what can you do to protect your increase. And here's always the solution for that. It's very simple. You live on the salary that you're being compensated or paid from your employment position, and you save and invest the additional income that you have coming in. What you don't want to do is what most people will do, and that is anytime they have an increase in income, they immediately increase their standard of living or increase their spending habits. You don't want to increase your spending habits. You want to make certain that you are saving and investing. And if you have any debt, you want to look at the highest interest rate of whatever debt you have. Don't eliminate the free money, for lack of a better term. And what I mean by that is, many people bought homes during the pandemic and they were able to get a low interest rate. And obviously, that's almost like free money, because if you're investing, you have a net. If you generate an 8% annual return on investment from the stock market or from other investments, whether it's real estate or whatever the case may be, and you're only paying 3% or 4% on the mortgage, you then have a net of 4% in profit because of the fact that you are investing. But what you don't want to do is spend the money on depreciating assets. Now, obviously, we all need transportation. So even though we know an automobile is a depreciating asset, if you establish good credit, you can get a low interest rate on the car. If you're not going to pay cash for it, you'll be able to pay it off over time. And even though that's a depreciating asset, it's a necessary investment so that you can commute back and forth to the office if you have to commute back and forth to the office. But we just have to look at the big picture. And what we don't want to do is begin spending just because we have it. You want to save and invest. Remember, I said, you cannot just save your way to wealth. You have to save and invest your way to wealth. And so live on your salary. You have an annual salary from your current professional position. That annual salary is what you want to live on. And what I mean by that is you want to live on it. You want to follow the budget that we've talked about many times in 3D. You want to follow the budget structure that you've put in place, which includes saving and investing. And then you want to put some additional capital into saving and investing. And that should be, first and foremost, that side business capital that you have coming in. Now, obviously, if you have to reinvest some of that capital, that's fine because you're making an investment in that particular side business. But you want to save and invest. You want to make certain that you're invested in the stock market. You want to look at the possibilities of investing in real estate because those are going to be, look, you've already started a second side business, so entrepreneurship is the third way of building wealth. Your first two ways are going to be the stock market and real estate. And for all of our listeners and viewers, think about this. And this is something that you have to teach your children. And that is the stock market is an easy way for young people to begin building wealth. And what I mean by that is when they're underage, you're going to have to help them to set up an investment account, but that they can begin purchasing products, purchasing shares of publicly traded companies that manufacture products that they use on a continuous basis. That will teach them the principle of investing. They all like Nikes, they all like cell phones, they all like games. There are things they can invest in and they can buy them at an early age so that they get started on the process of investing. And then when they become 18, you can transfer that account over to them and allow them to do it on their own. You just, from time to time, I would recommend once a month just checking in with them to see where they are. But it gives them an early start. That's the first method. And then the second method is as they begin to build wealth from investing in the stock market, they learn to save money and invest. They can then take a look at real estate. One of the things I tell our students in our Achievers Academy continuously is that in the state of Delaware, and that's where we're located, for all of you who may not know, but if you're new viewers, but in the state of Delaware, 18 years of age and a high school diploma, you can get a real estate license, which is going to allow you to begin the process of investing in real estate and saving yourself 6% just from the fact that they have a license. Now, I'm a firm believer that at some point they're going to move the goal line and the goalpost, and it will probably become 21 years of age and a college degree. But right now, 18 years of age, because I understand how the system works. So right now at 18 years of age and a high school diploma, they can get a real estate license that will then allow them to begin, the process of being involved in real estate. And there are so many components that are involved in real estate. There's so many things that they can do. So we have to really teach our children to take advantage of these opportunities while they're available. Now, I have to tell you, I have to date had two students who have gone through our Achievers Academy who have now gotten their real estate license during one of them during the summer of going off to college, and the other one after entering college during the summer got a real estate license the fall after their first year of college. So there are ways to really expand our tentacles and expand our opportunities. You've done that with entrepreneurship by starting a side business. Again, to God be the glory. Let's take it to another level. Save that capital that comes in from that side business that you now have. And I really don't want to really call it a side business any longer. Anytime you go into business, unless you're just doing what the young people call a side hustle, if you start a business, it's a business. It's just that you're working in your professional career and you're running a business. People do it all the time. Now what you want to do is you want to save that income that you have coming in that you don't have to reinvest. And then you want to monitor the stock market consistently, and you want to begin purchasing some additional public shares in publicly traded companies, because that's going to allow you to begin to build wealth. And then, of course, as I said, you want to tap into the real estate market, because real estate is another method of building wealth. There's a reason it's called, the term is real estate, because it becomes part of your real estate. And so we want to make certain that we don't miss any opportunities. We want to make certain that we, as opportunity permits itself, that we pursue those opportunities so that we can maximize the fullness of God in all of our lives. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that both your children have moved out, your son last summer and your daughter June 1st. And I'm going to say again, to God be the glory, okay? But you said it's quite different being at home alone. You have empty nest. You have empty nest syndrome. All right, so let me say this to you. This has to be, first of all, the time of your life. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because anytime your children have left the nest, they have begun to fly, we pray that they'll soar like eagles. But anytime children have left the nest, they've begun their own professional careers. They've got their own apartments, or they're buying homes, or whatever the case may be. We first of all have to thank God for what He's done. Sure, you did your part. You raised them, you nurtured them, but now they've gone out into the world and they've begun to live their own lives. And now you have to say, not only to God be the glory, but you have to say to yourself, this is the time of my life. And what I mean by that is, not that you're not going to be present for your children and engaged in their lives, but not their affairs. There's a difference there. And you have to decide, now that you've come this far, what is it that God has purposed further for your life? So obviously, being a parent, God purposed you to nurture both your son and your, I'm sorry, I misspoke, and your daughters. So you have a son and two daughters. And they're all gone. They've all moved out. your oldest daughter, which you didn't indicate when she moved out, but you said your son moved out last summer, and your last daughter moved out June 1st of this year. So now everybody is on their journey. And you now have to say, you fulfilled that part of the journey. You brought them this far. You have to decide what it is that God wants for the rest of your journey. And you have to focus on working that. You know, one of the things, and I'll share this, sometimes I'll make things really personal, and I'll share with you, that's one of the things my wife and I have talked about very, very often. We are not living our children's lives. They have their own lives to live. We're here for them. We're never going to see them get rained on. We're never going to see them go hungry. And we're never going to see them naked. Thank the Lord. But we're not trying to live their lives. We have our own lives to live, and we have a lot of responsibilities. And we understand that they are on their journey. They're growing in their journey, and we pray for them every day. So we cover them with prayer. We know that someday they will soar like eagles, and we know that because we pray for them, God will cover them, and their lives will continue to be blessed. Now, having said that, we also realize that we have a lot of responsibility, so we keep moving forward, doing what God has purposed for us to do. So we talk about that often, just to remind ourselves we don't interfere with what's going on in their lives. When they say something to us that we need to respond, we address the issue, because they'll never be able to say, well, why didn't you tell me that? We always say that. Our children will never be able to say that. They will never come home and say, well, this happened to me. Why didn't you tell me that would happen if I made that decision? We're always going to share information with them, but we're not trying to live their lives. They have their own lives to live, and we're living ours. So what I'm encouraging you to do is live your purpose now. Live out. You've done what God has appointed for you to do when you bear children, raise children, and nurture them. Now what does God want you to do? That's what has to be done moving forward, because your journey's not over. And if you only focus on the empty nest syndrome, my nest is empty and I don't have anything to do, you've got plenty to do, but you've got to know what God would have you to do. And in order to do that, you have to seek God's way and God's will for your life. You can do that. We all can do that. We just have to be intentional about doing it. So you have to say, you know, and I've used this analogy previously, and I'll use it, I'm sure, again. Every day, just ask the question, God, what would you have me to do? What is it that you want for my life? And when you're in your professional career every day, look at ways that you can expand that. What else can I be doing that's going to allow my career to flourish? What else could I be doing that will allow my career to thrive to another level? What else could I be doing that is going to begin to have an impact on the fullness of God in my life? Those are things you can ask yourself daily and work to that end. You know, focus on what you can do. And I know this is related to one of the communications from yesterday, but personally, professionally, and spiritually. If we keep growing in those areas, if we keep growing personally, we keep growing professionally, and we keep growing spiritually, you're going to be busy enough, trust me, that you won't even notice that the house is empty, that the nest is empty now. Because it takes a lot to continue growing personally. It takes a lot to continue growing professionally. And Lord knows it takes a lot to continue growing spiritually. Because the world has so many moving parts and so many distractions, we have to be mindful at all times that what we do will not disrupt our spirit, will not disrupt our psyche, and will not disrupt our quality of life. Because that's what it's really all about at the end of the day, is that we continue moving forward in a quality of life that will not only be a blessing to us, but that because we're being blessed, our children will see the blessings of God and begin to seek Him also. All of us. Because we know, listen, every one of us know that the world is constantly bombarding our children. Even not just our adolescent children, I'm talking about adult children. Because it's constantly bombarding adults with so many moving parts, so much information, so much distraction. It's constantly bombarding us. We have to separate ourselves from that. Even though we have to live in this world, we don't have to be of it. We don't have to be of the world. We don't have to be consumed by what the world has to offer. We just have to live here so that we're living on purpose and that everything we do will bring God His glory. So we delight ourselves in the Lord. He gives us the desires of our heart. Let's make God happy about the way we live our lives. If we can do that, the battle's already won. We just have to continue to battle. Because life requires us to put in work daily to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. And if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I want to remind everyone, of course, you know, those of you that are with us every day, you know we broadcast on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. If you go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the Dropbox will appear. Click on the New Life link, just like the shirt I'm wearing today, that link. Click on New Life link, and every broadcast will be available to you. And now you can also click on the WKAP link at RadioFreeNetwork.com. Click on radio, the Dropbox will appear. When you click on radio, you will see WKAP. It's our 24-hour internet radio station, which is where we play music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you 24 hours a day to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. It's our internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio. It is an inspiration station. So we want you to tune in, and I want to welcome all of our new listeners also, because I saw in the report that we have new listeners also in Switzerland. I'm sure I know who a couple of you are because you were in Zurich. And so I want to welcome you for tuning in to our internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your support. And to all of the other countries, Ireland, Uganda, and India, those places where people have been tuning in, and of course in the UK, we thank you for tuning in. We want everyone to become the best version of themselves that they can possibly become. And in order to do that, we need to keep you encouraged. We need to keep you empowered. We need to keep you inspired, and we need to keep you connected. And the way that we do that is by playing music 24 hours a day so that you can stay connected with us throughout the week, even when we're not on the air in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you realize that people in your life do not really care about you, only what you can do for them. However, you do not know how to pull the plug on them when it has become part of your life. Well, let me say this to you. If you understand that they don't really care about you and only what you can do for them, then you have a better understanding now. It became part of your life because you didn't understand it at that time. You didn't realize that they didn't care about you. You took it as when they come to you, it's because they care about you. That's a mistake that so many people make. But the reality is they come to you because it's something they want, not because they care anything about you. But you felt needed, and so it became part of your life. But now that you understand and have a better understanding, it's time for you to pull the plug. You say how to pull the plug. Think about this. If you go to your television right now and you pull the power plug from the socket that it's connected to, your television no longer comes on. If you pull the plug on those people in your life who don't care about you, that means that they're not going to be able to turn you on anymore. And what I mean by that is you're going to find that they'll stop calling you. When you finally decide that you're not going to deal with them on their terms, you're going to deal with them on your terms. They're going to pick up the phone less because they now know that you're aware of what they're doing. It has nothing to do with you. It just is that they now know you're aware. That they know that you have a better understanding now, and they're going to move on to the next person that they can plug into. The problem with that is that as long as they can find a source, they're never going to go to God, who is the true source. Because only God can give exceeding abundantly above all they can ask or think. You can't do that for them. I don't care how much you have and possess that God has placed in your hands. You can never give them exceeding abundantly above all they can ask or think. But God can. And you have to allow them to go to God and stop coming to you. And they'll stop coming to you when you pull the plug. But as long as you stay plugged in, they're going to continue coming to you, and they're never going to really get into a relationship with the Lord. Why would they? They have you. You become their God. And so, we have to be mindful of that. And I'm not suggesting that we leave our children hanging out there. I'm not suggesting that if we have elderly parents, that we leave them hanging out there. I'm saying people who don't really care about you, who only come to you when they need something, you need to let them go to God. Sometimes we have to do that with our own children too. Elderly parents is a little different because they're elderly. But able-bodied people who are doing everything else they want to do, we've got to let them learn to go to God. Because if not, we become their God. And I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't die on the cross for anyone. I'm resurrected, but I'm not resurrected from that cross. So we just have to do a better job. And what you're going to find out is that you'll be bothered a lot less by people who don't care anything about you. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, 3D, has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. I hope if you're in our area that I will see you on Sunday. I look forward to being in your viewing environment if you're not in our area, but if you're in our area, come worship with us at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809.